Welcome, guys. We are so excited to have you on this call, the beginning of a new year. We were just chatting about our words for the year, our resolutions for the year. We are so ready. We had like commit and present and purpose, and we are so ready to just jump in. And starting the year off with this call is going to be amazing because it really all is about connecting. It's all about like how to reach out to people and genuinely connect with them. I'm so excited. We are going to bring to you my friend Kris today. And she is a 2-star Golden Circle, 1-star Crystal Executive. She lives in Atlanta. I say she's like my East Coast twin because we literally have the same name, spelled the same way. Our husbands have the same name. We have 2 boys around the same ages. And then our husbands are both tattoo artists for a living. So we just like met at one of the Isagenix events. This is why you talk to people at events, because you get to meet them and know them and love them. And she actually also is, other than like connecting, she's like a major connector in life. I can't wait for you to hear some of her stories. But she has also done in the last year, she did her first 2 fitness competitions. And guys, the first one, she won her pro card. And I was like, isn't that a big deal? And I think it is like a very big deal. And then she placed top 5 in her second one. She looks incredible. She has an even more incredible heart. And we're just going to chat with her today. And she's going to share some examples and some things that will be very, very valuable moving forward in your business today that you can use today. So welcome, Kris. Hi, I'm so excited you're here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I was telling my husband, I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing a call with my West Coast twin.
It's so true. It's just so crazy how things work like that. So I know that a lot of people, we were talking a lot about like a lot of people are focusing on connecting on social media right now. It's a big push. Yes, social media is very necessary for our business and it allows us to work from anywhere. But the first step before connecting on social media is usually connecting in person and making those connections in your everyday life. So I'd love for you just to share like what that looks like for you when you go out. Do you leave the house with a purpose? What does that look like? And just share all the things.
Yeah. So just to kind of let everybody know, so I've been doing this for almost 4 years, but in the very beginning, I had no idea, obviously, like probably a lot of us, how to start building this business. I didn't know what that looked like. And I was not a big social media person. So I was very fearful. And my first 30 days of committing to do this business, my goal was to do 1 post a day for 30 days because that was like huge for me. I probably did 30 posts for the whole year, the year prior. So that was like a big, like scary thing for me. And then talking about it out in public, I was like, well, I can talk to the people I know, your friends, your family. That seems pretty easy. I can do that. But I knew that social media is important because it's an ancillary. And we know that we are in the business of network marketing. So we need to communicate and talk with people. And like Christina said, it's easy. Social media gives us that, that independent, like remote, you can work from wherever you want, location independent business. And that is amazing. And I love that aspect of it. And now I do post on social media. However, I like to really focus on the connections and the relationships because I don't have a very big following on social media. It's grown since I've started Isagenix. And of course, I've learned to kind of grow it a little through Instagram as well, but I've only been doing Instagram for a year. So it was really Facebook 4 years ago. So I really started focusing on the fact that I just like to talk to people. And a lot of questions that I get are, well, I'm not very outgoing, or I don't know what to say to people. I get uncomfortable. I'm thinking, how am I going to bring Isagenix up into this? And so I've kind of done some of these calls on our team too, to help people who may not have that natural knack to just strike up conversation. So the number one thing that I usually tell people is our worlds are busy. Life is busy. You either are working and you're driving to work and you're getting to work and running behind and working, doing your job, chit chat with a few coworkers, have lunch, go to the dry cleaning on the way home, the grocery store, come home, deal with life. Or maybe you're at home and you're running the dry cleaning, or you're running to the grocery store, you're returning items. That's like what I do all the time. Shopping, all these things, but we get caught up in our own world and we forget to actually connect with people when we're out. So you have to make that intention when you leave the house that I am literally going to be present in the world today when I go out, when I leave the house. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be present and I'm going to talk about Isagenix. It just means I'm going to be present, and potentially the conversation will lead to Isagenix. And if not, maybe it'll lead to a connection where I add them to my social media. And that's why social media is important, as an ancillary. So being present, what that really looks like is when you're waiting in line, not always be on your phone. So maybe put your phone away when you're in line at the store. When you're in the gym, maybe you don't wear your headphones one day, because you're really that's intimidating. You're never going to strike up conversation in the gym. And that's like the easiest place, honestly, to start this conversation, because it will always go to Isagenix in the gym. In some way, it's really easy to get it into health, obviously, at the gym. So truly taking out your earbuds or staying after getting to class early or staying a little late and just talking about the class, the workout, striking up conversation. So being present. The easiest way for me to tell people to kind of strike up conversation is I love to shop and I love clothes and I love all that good stuff. So if I see another person that's wearing a shirt or a pair of shoes or something that I like and we're standing in line, I am literally just going to be like, hey, oh my gosh, I love those shoes. Where did you get those? And she's going to tell me, Nordstrom Rack or wherever she found them, and I'm going to continue to talk about how much I love that store. I mean, it's got to be natural. Obviously, this has to be a natural thing. You have to really like the shoes. But as you're talking about that store and the shoes, you've now just built a common, like a rapport with each other, because obviously she likes her shoes and you do too. So you have an interest. You have something already in common. And there are times that I've weaved in, like, for instance, I use this as an example when we were talking. Oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Where did you get them? Nordstrom Rack. I love Nordstrom Rack. You know what? That makes me think I really need to go there today because I'm leaving in 2 days to go to my company's event and we're doing a photo shoot and I am looking for a new pair of shoes. I'm totally going there. I have a nutrition business and we're going to our company event in 2 days. I just throw it in there and I just keep talking. Like, I'm leaving. I work from home. I have a nutrition business from home and we're going to our company's event in 2 days and I'm looking for a pair of shoes like that, da, 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 da. Oftentimes when you say I have a nutrition business and you keep talking, you don't stop and make it awkward. You just kind of keep talking. They're going to say, oh, tell me more about that. Or what is that about? Or, can you, oftentimes people will be like, oh, that's pretty cool. What is that? Like, what are you, a dietitian or what? Like, they'll ask me questions about it. Depending on how long you have in line or wherever you are, you can strike up that conversation or you can say, you know what, I'd be glad to tell you more about it. Let's connect on Facebook or Instagram, whatever, and we'll set up some time to talk or let's connect and I can add you to a team page that I have that can give you more info. Like, it's really easy. And if you're not adding them to a team page, that's okay. Just connect. And I connect with people even if it's not about Isagenix. She could be talking about stores that she loves. And let's say I just bought a house. So if we're talking about furniture and she's got all these great ideas, I would say something like, you know what, I would love to stay connected with you because you have a vision that I'm looking for in my house. Are you on social media? And I didn't say anything about Isagenix. I just asked to connect because we had a common interest and she has something that I said, oh my gosh, I'd love to pick your brain. I'd love to connect with you. Now, when we connect, she's going to see my posts and the stuff that I talk about as well. And I'm going to private message her. So great meeting you. And it's naturally going to come up because if you're posting and you're dripping information and you're building curiosity, people are going to want to know. So that's one way. I try to always find a way. Because I do this full time from home, I tend to wear workout clothes a lot as my uniform. I probably shouldn't, however I do. But oftentimes when I'm out, I have been in TJ Maxx. I don't know if you guys love TJ Maxx or Home Goods like I do, but they have like a health food section. It's like the coolest little place to buy turmeric and like all these fun like health foods. I can't tell you how many times I've been in that, like in the zone, looking at all these things, and people will walk up to me and ask me a question because they assume because I'm in workout clothes that I work out that I might know what I'm talking about. And I'll say something like, oh yeah, I have a nutrition business. I'd love to help you with that or whatever. And I don't go into Isagenix and I don't go into their goals. I just say, let's connect, So you want to make yourself approachable. But that's why I think it's important to have your phone or your earphones out or, making eye contact and just smiling at the person that walked up next to me is going to allow them to want to talk to me. there, obviously, if you have kids, I connect about kids all the time. I'll see some crazy kids in the store and I'm like, I'm so glad that mine aren't the only ones. You know, we'll start talking about how our kids are all crazy. And if they're local, right near where I live, I'll say something like, oh, I'd love to have a play date with you. The holidays are coming up and they're going to be home for 2 weeks. I'd love to fill my calendar with play dates. Let's connect. Are you on Instagram? Or let's connect. I'm always getting them on. I met somebody yesterday, actually. We went to church and we went and had we had some barbecue or something. We weren't supposed to go there, but we went there, and this couple and kids were outside. They were so nice. They started talking to us, and I don't know why I even asked her where she was from, because our church isn't necessarily where we live. And she told me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you live where I live. Let's connect. Are you on Facebook? Are you on whatever? You know, and she's like, oh, I thought you were going to get my phone number. I was like, yeah, I can get that too. You know, but I always ask for Facebook or Instagram first, you know. There are times that I've been in the parking lot. I got to give this one example because this is literally my favorite example. So I was in line at Kale Me Crazy. And so this is where people are like, I don't know what to say. I don't know I want to talk about, I want to meet somebody. I don't know what to say. There were these women in front of me in line, and I'm present. Like, I'm here, I'm present. I'm ready to connect if it makes sense. I didn't have anything to say to them. There was nothing that came to my head. There was nothing natural. But a girl walked by me, and she smelled so good. You guys, she smelled so good. And I was like, oh, hey, excuse me, what is that perfume you're wearing? Because I absolutely love it. And she said, oh, she told me, I don't remember what it is, but she told me, and she was like, oh, I'm so glad that I smell good. I just left the gym and I thought I would stink. Well, that right there, we have a common bond because I love to work out. So I was like, oh, what gym do you go to? We started talking about it. And she said, now keep in mind, you don't have to bring up Isagenix. Especially if you know you're going to see the person again. So we were talking about different workout classes, and we were like really connecting. And I said, I would love to go to this class with you. I've never been there. I'd love to work out with you. And so now I knew that we were going to see each other again, that I did not need to bring up Isagenix. We connected, we got numbers and Facebook and all that good stuff. However, I worked out with her for maybe 4 times. I took 4 classes with her, and she enrolled with Isagenix because while you're taking the classes, you're going to chit chat. It's a new friend before or after the class. And then I was able to tell her what I do and all that kind of stuff. So if you know you're going to see the person again, you don't have to like throw Isagenix in right away. Another couple tips. Do you want me to keep going, Christina? Because I can just roll.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. I love concrete examples. That's what people need to hear. Like, okay. And talk about the Costco parking lot too, if you. Okay,
so Costco parking lot. I was returning. There was a woman parked next to me, and I had an empty cart, and I could tell had a little baby in the car, and I was like, oh, hey, do you want my cart? And she's like, oh, thanks. And I could have just said, great, here, and got in my car. However, I made like a silly joke to her that said something like, isn't it funny when you don't have kids, you try to park closest to the store? However, when you have kids, you start parking closest to the cart return because you're like throwing kids in car and cart at the same time. And she started laughing. And because it was just an open kind of like conversation, we just started talking for a minute. And she made a comment. I was in workout clothes. And this happened to be at like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. And she had just gotten off work, and she was like, oh man, looking at your outfit, I wish that I had time to work out. And I was like, oh, don't be so hard on yourself. You know what? It's more nutrition than working out anyway. And she was like, really? And then we started talking about it. And I said, we were in the parking lot, and I said, listen, let's connect. I can talk to you more about this. This is what I do. So I can tell you more about it if you want it, if you're interested. And she said, yes. So it's really just keeping the conversations going, just being friendly, just making jokes, just talking, we tend to kind of shut down, because we have an agenda usually, which is the next stop where we're going. A couple of other things that I did 2 years ago, and when I really started, I was stuck behind my computer. As much as I did not like social media, I felt that was the way I had to build the business the first year. So the first year, I just sat behind my computer. I wasn't out talking in Costco parking lot my first year because I was just so like consumed with the stress of social media for me. So I was stuck behind my computer, and someone says, you got to get out. You just got to get out. So that's when I started saying, you know what, I got to get out. And so that 2 years ago, I was like focused on just meeting people, getting involved in groups, and just getting out. So a couple of other things that I did that year that was really just really impacted my business was, as much as we think we don't have time, and we don't, all of us have like busy lives. you got to be open to like volunteering your time in maybe different ways. So I got on my HOA committee, which I might say, I may not always recommend getting on your board of your neighborhood. However, I did. And so when it was time to be the social committee, I was a social committee. I created a Facebook page for the neighborhood. I helped create a lot of the social events. So when you do that and you're the one that's creating that, they're clicking on my name. When I'm creating a Facebook page or I'm posting in the Facebook group, naturally, oftentimes they're going to click on your name and go to your profile. That same year, I had my 20-year high school reunion, so I got on the board, on the committee for that. So I was the one that created the Facebook page for that, sent the emails out, all that kind of thing. And the other thing that I did is I signed up to be room mom. And when, if any of you have kids, room mom is a great way to meet because you're the one kind of coordinating and orchestrating all of the classroom events for the parents. Again, I created a Facebook page, Miss Tucker's second grade class kind of thing, and it was my name attached to the Facebook page. So everyone would click and people would click on my name. There are lots of times that I didn't talk about Isagenix because I knew I was going to see the parents again. And then I was saying to you, Christina, I was in conversation with one of them and I was like, oh, well, I do Isagenix, right? Or what I do, right? Because I had talked to her like 8 times and I guess we had never really brought it up. So it was just a very natural, easy conversation. She was like, oh no, tell me about it. So I was able to enroll a lot of moms in the class. And then at birthday parties, you got one mom who's doing it, and then another mom's like, oh, I want to know about it. And you have a couple moms and then a few that aren't doing it, and all of a sudden they want to do it too. So it really trickled through the classroom. Trying to think those are really a lot of my connecting tips.
Yeah, I love them. And I love what you mentioned too, like you're just doing like your natural things and lines. She was saying like like returning things or shopping or whatever, when you're in grocery stores, like when you're standing in line, you're all just standing there. There's nowhere for anybody to go. You might as well make conversation, as opposed to like, yes, like working from home, you can work wherever and like you can work at a coffee shop. But Kris was saying like, I've never connected with anybody at a coffee shop because everybody's like in their zone, just like getting their work done. And so like, yes, it's good to like get out and like do some work there. But if you're thinking like, well, I'm just going to go to this coffee shop and like work out in public so I can meet people, that's probably not the best route, because I work at coffee shops too throughout the week and everybody's quiet, like nobody talks to each other. If you try to, it's kind of like awkward because they're all in their zone.
But I'm not going to listen to your conversation, however. Yeah,
totally. So and again, like Kris was saying, like we are all so busy, like we're all busy, but like taking the time wherever you are and setting that, I don't know if you mentioned this right now, but like setting the intention before you leave your house. Like today I'm going to connect with people. I have to like take things back at the store. I have to go to Costco. I have to, and like setting the intention. I'm not going to be on my phone. And after talking to you, I noticed that I did this yesterday at Trader Joe's. I was like at the checkout and I was like trying to get stuff done on my phone because I'm without kids for 2 seconds, and I realized I barely talked to the cashier, where usually if my phone would be away, I'm asking questions and like connecting and all of that. So just being intentional about the things that you're already doing in your life, like your daily activities, and then saying yes to those volunteering things will actually be so good for your business because it brings so many more people into your network. Yeah. So
you guys have Sprouts out there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I swear I meet people all the time in Sprouts. I mean, it's a health store. So I was getting, I don't know what I was getting. Turmeric, I don't know. I was getting something. And somebody started asking me questions about it. And then one time I was asking someone cacao nibs or whatever. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. And I was like, hey, how do you use those? Like, I mean, I've seen them, I have some ideas on how to use them, but how do you use them? And it just strikes up conversation. And it's so easy in that situation to say something like, oh, I have a nutrition business. And I was saying to you last night, this type of connecting, it's led a little bit more with product. So this isn't as easy to lead in my mind with business in line at the store, unless somebody's talking to you or you're able to bring up a conversation about why you're out in the middle of the day or something, about what you do for work kind of thing. But for me, this type of, is led with product. Now you can do the GoPro, Eric Worre. He talks about with the server, you'd be so great at my business, or, what is it that, how long have you worked here? Where do you see yourself? You can do, that's more of a business approach, but it's a little bit easier when it's a server. I did have someone checking me out one time at TJ Maxx that was just phenomenal. Her personality was so great. And I was like, oh, you would be so good at what I do. And she was like, what is it you do? I said, I have a health and nutrition business, but I'm able to do it from home with my kids and all that stuff. We can talk more later, because she was working, kind of thing. So
yeah.
no.
Yeah. And then moving it, you don't have to. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I have them right here. Like, I need to like vomit Isagenix and like get them to enroll right now. But like, once, that's the beauty of moving it onto social media, and it's less intimidating too than like a phone number, is that they can then follow you and what you're like putting out there. That brings in that next piece. So you don't feel like you just have to like vomit on them all of the things all at once. So do you guys, before we're going to like kind of shift a little bit, because Kris has so many good things, about connecting, but do you guys have any specific questions before I move on? Like, what do you say in this situation, or how, cause like all of those examples pretty much that she gave, like she enrolled them, they became a part of her business, people that she didn't know before. So
yeah. One thing I'll add to that, we've heard it, I'm sure we've all heard it. It is not who you know, it's who you're going to meet, which is really, really why my biggest business builders on my team, I literally did not know. I took a fitness class, an extra class, like outside of my normal workout. I worked out in her studio 4 times before I ever, maybe then I friended her on Facebook. I didn't want to go in and then friend her, kind of thing. And she's my biggest business builder right now, but it was another just kind of stepping out and getting out of my routine. But it's who you're going to meet. So.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially with this new year, everybody's setting like new goals for their business. And it's kind of like the people that we might have heard this before too, like the people that have been with you the past year might not be the people that are going to help you get to your goals for the next year. So it's like time to bring in the new class, like the 2019 class of people. And those are the people you're going to meet out and about, because you don't already know them yet. You're not going to be like dragging along all the old ones that aren't doing anything. You're ready to meet the people that align with the values and goals that you have. And that's only going to happen by putting yourself out there and starting the conversations and giving compliments, always leading with that. So easy, especially for us like women. It's so easy just to compliment things that you see and open up conversation. So I didn't see any questions, but here's one. I'm always out with my 10-month-old and he's like a ticking time bomb. Oh girl, I feel ya. For meltdowns. So I feel like I'm always in a rush. I compliment people and I'm open, but have to run. Any tips? That's a really good question. Do you have anything for that?
Well, I try to be pretty like self-deprecating and make fun of my crazy kid, like my crazy situation. So I make her comfortable. Situations reverse. So if your kid is kind of being the crazy one or whatever, I'm obviously not going to talk to the person who looks like they might be put off by my kid being crazy, But if there's another mom behind me, you kind of like look and you chit chat and you're like, oh my gosh, I know. You strike up, if they have kids with them, it's easy to kind of talk about the meltdown or the nap time struggles, that kind of thing. If they're in the middle of a full blown breakdown, it might be a little challenging. I mean, that might be hard to be like, let me get your number, unless you guys were already talking. And then that happens, then that's great. You're like, oh my gosh, I am loving this conversation. I'd love to pick this back up. Can we connect, and then you can connect that way. So that's kind of what my advice would be, is if you're kind of get in conversation prior to that happening,
Yeah. And then almost like, I feel like you could almost use that as a reason, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I want to continue this conversation. Like, can we become friends on Facebook, or can we add each other on Instagram? Because like my kid is not going to last. And I really like want to keep connecting about this or whatever. You can almost use that as an excuse, but that's like already after you started the conversation.
Or if you're at the playground, like let's say you're in the little swings, that kind of thing with the babies playground, great way to connect with moms.
Yes, for sure. Okay, if you guys have any other questions about connecting, throw them up there like as you think about them, and we'll like circle back to them. I'm gonna shift a little bit, and
I see a question.
Oh, you do? Go ahead.
I do not always bring up that I have a nutrition business. Let me make sure I'm answering the question correctly. Do you always bring up you have a nutrition business the first time you meet people? I'm always worried that I'm going to make them. Right. So if I just bring it up and it doesn't fit naturally into the conversation, I feel like it's going to look like I'm trying. But sometimes I can kind of lead the conversation into the direction where it makes sense for me to say something about nutrition. sometimes it makes no sense for me to say nutrition, but I say it so quickly, as in the reason why I'm out and about, or, oh, or like what I was saying, I'm flying out in 2 days. I have a nutrition business and I'm going out to my event in 2 days. And I move on past it pretty quickly. And I let them bring it back up. If I know I'm going to see the person again, I probably won't bring it up unless it truly just makes sense. We're just talking about health and wellness and stuff. But if we're talking about clothes or kids or things like that, if I can't weave it in, if I can't guide the conversation into the direction where I can make a comment about me being at home during the day, or I make lots of jokes about how I love car line. Like I love sitting in the car line at school to pick the kids up. It's 30 minutes or whatever. But there was a time when I was working full time and I couldn't do that. I was in an office at 2:30. So I could not sit in car line, and I would have given anything to sit in that car line where so many people complain about car line. Car rider is like 30 minutes. However, I'll make jokes and stuff about how much I love that, because I'm able to do that now from my nutrition business. So if it makes sense, sure. If it doesn't, it would be weird. Try to guide the conversation in a direction where you can weave it in. And if you know you're going to see the person again, don't put the pressure on it. You know you can bring it up. The easiest way is to ask somebody what they do. Hey, what is it that you do? Because the natural thing is they're going to come back and ask you, oh, what is it that you do? So.
Yeah. And I would also say that if you're like feeling like self-conscious about bringing up your nutrition business, like I would just get like confident in that. Like it's just your job. Like it's what you do. Like somebody saying like, oh, I work at, the bank. Like they're not going to be like self-conscious about that. It's not weird. I would say like be proud of your profession. Like I'm in network marketing. I have a nutrition business. And that doesn't mean you want to sell things to them. That just means you like, that's what you do. It's just exchanging like jobs. So I would just say like get get super confident in like, yeah, this is what I do.
If you're not confident in your answer, there's another way you can say that. If let's say you have another job, you can say, oh, I work at a bank. I work at a bank by trade, but what I'm passionate about is my side hustle, which is a nutrition business, health and wellness business. So if you're not comfortable just saying I have a network marketing business, or I do nutrition and health and wellness, and you have another job, or you can say anything. I'm a stay-at-home mom, however, my passion is So it takes that pressure off, because you're just sharing your passion, and that is not weird.
Do you see that's awesome. There's one more question, and it's a little bit more about Facebook. Do you want me to read it?
I've been posting about nutrition, not every day, but for about 3 years with friends. Friends have not inquired. Do you cold message and ask for referrals? Okay, as Facebook has changed. Yes, Facebook is just it's a love-hate relationship, because it's like, I feel like, are people seeing my post or are they not? It has changed a lot, and I feel like they're not. But I will tell you, because I've gone through a lot of little experimental things. If I'm not posting consistently daily, you're less likely to be seen. So I try to put it on myself. I mean, in the beginning, we're talking 4 years ago, I was trying to post 5 times a day. I mean, that was like a full-time job, just posting 5 times a day. So now, fortunately, I've seen the trend go to at least once a day. Maybe you're because stories have changed everything. You throw everything on a quick story, but you want one good Facebook post or Instagram, that kind of thing. I try to stay consistent every day with at least one post if I can, just to keep me in the newsfeed. However, to answer the first part of that question, the easiest way to reach out, I mean, I have printed my Facebook list, and, I've gone through times where I'm like, I'm not passing anybody. I'm messaging everybody, which I struggle with that. I usually make reasons sometimes why I don't. However, if you make 3 or 4 generic reach outs, and then usually your Facebook friends are going to fit into one of those. So you can say something about, hey, Susie, it's the new year. Not sure if you know what I do or if you've seen what I do, but we're starting, results, not resolutions. And we have this great promotion. I'm reaching out to anyone to see if they would have any interest in joining. It's the best promotion I've ever seen, guaranteed 10 pounds. You could do a health thing. You could do an invite to a group. Like if you have a team call or a team, a Facebook event kind of thing, you can do an invite. However, the most common and the most comfortable cold message to reach out for people is the referral message. Hey, Susie, not sure if you know what I do or what you've seen what I've been doing for the last couple of years, but I'm just reaching out It's a new year. Lots of people have a lot of new goals, and I'm reaching out to see if you know, I'm sure this isn't for you, or maybe this may not be for you, but do you know anybody who would be interested in, you know, tackling some health goals in 2019, or even, you know, making a couple $500 to $1,000 extra a month to help tackle a bill or something like that. I'm always open for referrals, love referrals, or I'm expanding in your area and looking for referrals. And the referral message is great because so many times you're not going to always get a response. I mean, they'll leave you empty a lot of times, no response. However, oftentimes somebody will say, you know what, I've been meaning to reach out to you. I've seen your post, and they haven't liked any of them, but I've seen your post and I've been meaning to reach out. And that's how you can get referral message is great for cold messaging for sure. And then they're in your feed because you've messaged them. So.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great answer. Okay. So again, if anybody has any more, just type them in there and we'll circle back to them. I want to shift a little bit here. And I want Kris to share how, because she is in the fitness world industry, I wish I had her photo to like throw up here. Stalk her on Facebook and Instagram. She looks incredible. But I was asking her, like, for a lot of us, it's really who are not like in that fitness gym, personal trainer world, it's intimidating to talk to gym owners or talk to people that are already using supplements that are very like set in their ways about like how they're eating and, you know, protein powders and all of that. So all of the like value that she has to share on that, I wanted her to like help us understand the best way to talk to people in that industry. And then also, if you guys care, like if you want to get like shredded like she is, then I wanted her to share also like a little bit about what products she uses and like how she incorporates what meals and snacks and all of that during the day. So go ahead.
Okay. So this can be very intimidating, talking to people who, and just to kind of rewind, I worked out when I first started Isagenix, you know, I was working out and all of that. However, I didn't even get into show mode until last year. I was like, I really want to do a show. So I really wanted to step outside my comfort zone and really step it up. And I did it because I wanted to fall in love deeper with working out. Working out to me was like, check the box, I should work out. And I was doing it, and I'm all into this health, you know, and nutrition. However, I wanted to love like working out, and I wanted the physical results as well. So talking to somebody who's already like in, like, let's say a personal trainer, or somebody who's way focused on a runner, or somebody who's really into working out, can be intimidating because they often really buy into what they're doing. And that may be other protein powders. It may be whole foods. So this is kind of a challenging territory. So what I recommend is just asking. If you have some sort of, obviously you're going to talk to someone you have some sort of relationship with, either you know them from the gym or they're a friend of yours or something. Ask them what it is that their nutrition looks like daily. Like how, you know, what do you do to achieve your goals? What does your nutrition look like? Do you use certain supplements? Ask them and let them tell you. Oftentimes, somebody who's really, and I'm not talking about, there's people who are prepping for a show, and then there's personal trainers, and then there's just fitness enthusiasts. So they're all kind of different. A fitness enthusiast may not be using any kind of protein. They might just be eating, and they may only be eating 3 times a day. So that doesn't mean just because they're into fitness, they're that mom or that girl that you know that's always in the gym, and maybe they do have a pretty good, like a good body. It doesn't mean that they're using supplements. So asking them what they're doing, you can then, if you don't have your own story from a fitness standpoint or performance, you can use someone else's story. Or you can just talk about your company and like how you have this amazing performance line, and hear what they say, how they're eating. If they're telling you they're eating 3 times a day, you can say, oh, I know how important protein is to you, you know, because I know you're in the gym and working out, and everyone who's working out usually knows they want protein. And you can say it like, oh, I use these awesome protein shakes, and I use the performance, or I have a friend, or, you know, we have a performance line to add extra protein into your day so you don't have to meal prep. Because oftentimes a personal trainer, they may be eating 6 times a day, but they're meal prepping. They're meal prepping 6 meals a day. And I can tell you right now, I would not. I was prepping for a show. Yes. Oh, I didn't see the whole message. Oh, yeah. Because you can be, I was miserable and not prepping. Oh, yeah. Yes, they are hard to connect with. And here's the thing. If you're prepping for a show or you're super going hard in the gym and trying to put on lean muscle, you are probably eating 6 meals a day. And that's the kind of the plan, 6 meals a day. And not the 2 shakes, 2 snacks, and a meal, truly meals, because you want the extra protein. So it's a lot easier to talk to somebody about convenience, as in plugging in 2 shakes. I would not have been able to do those shows. I can tell you hands down, I was moving. It was the holidays. I've got 2 kids. I would not have been able to spend my time on Sundays and prep 6 meals. I wouldn't have been as committed to do that. I am so grateful that I would make a breakfast and I would go on the road. I would drop the kids off. I would go to the gym. I would do errands. And I had 2 shakes with me that fit right into my meal plan. A lot of fitness competitors will tell you that they have to stop using their supplements like a month before the show or several weeks before the show, because there's a lot of fillers, artificial sweeteners, and things like that that bloat you. So their coach will remove their supplements from their diet. I was able to use Isagenix, and we can use Isagenix all the way up into the week of show. The last week, you kind of take a lot of things out, but up into the week of show, I wouldn't have been, and anybody who's done it or knows, if you've tried to prep for a show without Isagenix, you're going to feel deprived. You're going to feel, because you're removing sugars, you're removing so much from your diet that what happens is a couple of things. One, you're weak, you're hangry, and it's not a fun experience. And I would not want to go through that experience and it not be fun. I enjoyed the experience because I was able to fuel my body, because our shakes are a fully balanced macronutrient meal, and it fit right into what I needed to do to reach my goals. The other part of that is with a fitness competitor, when they're removing and restricting, it's different than what we usually talk to people about. So fitness, prepping for a show is going to be a different meal plan than what we talk to the average person that's coming to us for Isagenix. So you're really removing certain things from your diet leading up to the show. And what can happen if you're removing sugars and certain carbs and things like that, you actually do the opposite after the show, and you can go and just binge. And now you're going to like eat your face off and eat cupcakes and sugar for like 2 months and gain all this weight. And that's going to affect your adrenal glands. So when you're giving your body a completely balanced macronutrient meal, and oftentimes you'll hear fitness people say, oh, but you have a lot of sugars in your shake, because they're so trained to think we can't have sugars, because their trainers will cut sugars from their diet. But we have to remind them that these are natural sugars that come from apples, beets, and pears, and your body knows how to break those down and use those in the right way. So you're not removing sugars completely from your diet until the very last week like that. So you don't have that craving that after the show where you're going to go off on the other end. So it's a really it's just a healthier way to prep for a show. So I'm actually on Kathy Savage's team. And if anybody knows who Kathy Savage is, she is like the mama, end all be all. She's the pioneer in the fitness industry, and she recommends Isagenix for all of her girls, and they place all the time. The girls win because they are healthy and they're not depleted. So that's my spiel on the fitness competitors. You just got to start asking them what they're doing and have a little base of knowledge on be prepared that they're going to talk about the sugars, and how you can educate and show pictures. Lori Harder, perfect example. Lori Harder won all 3 of her shows that she was in the year she added Isagenix to her plan. So and use her photos. She's got her competition photos. Lindsay Messina is another person. I don't know if you know her, but she uses Isagenix. She's an Isagenix. She is a cover, like I swear it's like 100-time cover girl, like cover model for Oxygen. Another person who uses it. You can use my photo if you want. Use someone's photo to show like how healthy and how I won. You can win. These people are placing. So that's what, with personal trainers, here's what I would say when you're talking to a personal trainer. They're going to say they don't need it, because a personal trainer is probably prepping 6 meals a day, and that is their life, and they are committed to that. Like they're not the average person. The average person may commit to making 6 meals a day to get healthy in January, and that's going to last about 3 weeks, or several times throughout the year, and it's going to last 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. However, what you want to say to a personal trainer is this isn't necessarily for you. It is for you. And obviously they're going to do it if they get started, but you're not going to change their mind right away. What you want them to know is that your clients are looking for a simple solution, and they will only do what you're doing, the trainer, for so long and then they throw in the towel. They don't stick with it because they're not as committed as the trainer is. So if they don't get a simple solution from the trainer, they're going to go get it. Just scroll Instagram. There are tons of people selling different nutrition plans out there and different types of products. And if it's a simple system, those clients who are working out with a trainer are going to go get another nutrition system somewhere else. So basically, this is an answer for their clients. And when a client has a transformation, 9 out of 10 times, if somebody asks them about their transformation and they're working out with a personal trainer, they're going to credit the personal trainer because they're seeing that personal trainer 2-3 times a week. They're going to say, oh, I've been working out with Steve over here. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So they're going to kind of credit the trainer. So that's when you're talking to the trainer, you can say, it's just better for you. Your clients are going to get results faster and they're going to refer way more people to you because people are going to see the results as well. So that's another way to talk to a trainer.
Yeah. And we were talking about how a lot of trainers will say like, well, I can't control what people eat outside of the gym. I can control what they do here in the gym, but I'll give them a plan and they don't stick to it. I can't control what they do.
Yeah. Because it's not simple. It's not simple to prep 6 meals a day, and it's expensive. It's boring, and they can control the workout, but they can't control what their clients do. But this is a really easy, obviously we all know it's a very easy, simple system to follow, that their clients, they will have more control over what they're eating.
Yeah. And we were saying that somebody on Kris's team, or she saw somewhere, took a like eating plan, like a nutrition plan example from a personal trainer and went and like tallied it all up on like Walmart groceries or something. And it was like the same or like about the same or a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think the Isagenix with the 2 shakes, 2 snacks and a meal came in like a little bit under what the whole food plan. Mm-hmm. So you can say, listen, if you don't want to just push a product on your clients, if you're talking to a trainer, you can say, I totally respect that. What I would recommend, because you can give your clients 2 options, because as the trainer, they know their clients will stick with the food plan they give them for a couple of weeks and then they'll fall off. And they can say, hey, I have 2 options for you. I have a whole food plan where you're going to meal prep 6 meals a day. I've tallied the cost, all of that. And I also have a nutrition system that's actually going to save you money, time, and you're going to enjoy the process a lot more, with results that are, guaranteed for this month at least. You know what I mean? So you can say to them, you can offer 2 plans, and maybe some opt for the first one, but then they're going to turn around, and when they start falling off that plan of making 6 meals a day, they can say, I have an easy, convenient solution for you right here. So, and it's less expensive. So that's another way to talk to trainers about that as well. I have the gym that I went to. This is a perfect example. I went to the gym. I started going to that gym, and this is a girl who did boot camp. She taught boot camp 5 nights a week. She taught classes and individual training sessions during the week. This person works out more than the average person, and she did not think she really had any weight loss. However, and she thought her nutrition was kind of on point. She was eating like 3 meals and 2 little snacks. And when she got started with me with Isagenix, she ended up losing 12 pounds. And she didn't even think she had to. This is a personal trainer. She did not think she had 12 pounds to lose, because there is nowhere that you can really ask any personal trainer. Like the golden end pod at the end of the rainbow is, how can I lose fat and gain lean muscle at the same time? It's like, it almost doesn't make sense. Like, it's too hard for people to achieve. With our system, you actually lose fat, because they're going to be cleansing, they're going to be removing certain things, they're going to be, replacing certain things, but you're also going to gain lean muscle, because most people aren't getting protein with every meal, and that much protein that their body actually needs if they're working out to fuel the muscle. If you're not eating protein, you're kind of wasting your time with these weighted workouts in the gym, because you're never going to put on lean muscle that way. So to lose fat and gain lean muscle is like the end all be all for people in that world. They want that combination, and Isagenix gives you that.
Yeah, which is totally what I want right now. So I'm going to show you, I don't know, I just pulled up her picture. You guys, can you see this? Dang it, my window. Doesn't she look amazing? Like, who wants to look like that? And what, you're turning 40 this year, you said?
I'm turning 40 in May, yep.
In May. Oh my gosh. So can you just share real quick while we have a couple minutes left, and you guys, this is the time to ask any other questions you have. can you just share like what it looks like for you eating? I know like prepping for a competition is different, but like people that want to put on lean muscle and
most of what I was doing is pretty normal up until about 5-6 weeks prior to the show. 5-6 weeks prior to the show is where you make some different changes. But that plan that I was following all the way up, it's really Isagenix. It's what we do. However, I do a 6th meal. Now, keep in mind, this works only when somebody is working out like a lot. I worked out 5-6 days a week. And then I was also so I worked out with weights 5 days a week. And I did one functional workout a week, more of like a class that I took that was a functional workout. And then I would do 3 HIIT sessions a week. Everybody's different. So for me, I was doing 3 25-minute HIIT sessions. So this is a lot of working out. You really need to fuel your body. So during that, and now when I'm not prepping for a show, I work out about 5 days a week. I don't do 6, I do 5, and I don't do quite as many HIIT sessions just because I don't like it. I should, but I don't necessarily like it. You want to have 6 meals a day. So what I was doing is 6 meals a day. I would wake up and I would have a green pancake or a green waffle. I make it every single day. I absolutely love it. I make it even when I'm not doing a show. And I can give you the recipe because it's my favorite. I eat it every morning. It is 1/3 cup of oats. It is 4 ounces of egg whites, a handful of spinach, and I put some cinnamon and I blend it. And then I throw it in a waffle maker and then I add the blueberries. About a 1/4 to 1/3 cup of blueberries. I basically put them in all the little holes of the waffle, and then I smash it down, and it becomes like a natural jelly. It is so good. Yes, I can send it to you. I'll send it to you, the recipe. And then if you ever had any of the Flavor God seasonings, Flavor God seasonings are amazing because they don't have all those chemicals and all that stuff in there, and they're low sodium, all that. They make a chocolate donut seasoning and a buttery cinnamon. So I would sprinkle that on top. I would have that every morning. It's perfectly balanced. 2-3 hours later, just like we coach with Isagenix, you're going to start to get hungry. I would have a shake. Because I was on the road, like out and about doing errands and stuff all the time, I would do back-to-back shakes. So I would have another shake as my 3rd meal. My 4th meal would look like something like 4 ounces of protein and a vegetable. So maybe I would do ground turkey or ground chicken all the time. I just almost like make it like a tacos, like how you make taco meat. Ground chicken, ground turkey, put some sort of seasoning. You don't have to be worried. Stay more away from liquids versus powder seasoning. So powder seasonings are more okay for you. Some of the liquids get too sugary. And then I would do a vegetable with it, 1/2 cup of vegetables. And then you can do like 1/4 cup or so of a sweet potato or brown rice. I mean, this is what I was doing. So everybody's body and everything is different, but this is kind of a guide, a kind of a baseline. And then my 5th meal would be dinner. It would be protein and vegetable, maybe a turkey burger and asparagus, maybe flank steak and asparagus, maybe chicken and, broccoli, whatever it may be. It could be a salad. And then my 6th meal was usually the belly buster, or I would do plain Greek yogurt with a scoop of the greens in it. And that actually tastes so good. You would be surprised how good that tastes. It's like a dessert to me. And I would do usually, my protein is usually about 4 ounces. So I would do 3 to 4 ounces of yogurt with a scoop of greens. And I kind of did that every day. I would kind of rotate between different meats and different veggies, but I try to keep my last 2 meals were protein vegetable. So in order to eat that much food, that's a lot of food too and a lot of calories, you really got to be working out. And making sure you're getting in your cardio.
Amazing. I took notes on all of that. You guys, was that of value to you to know what to do to look that insane? We are so thankful that you're taking your time to share that with us. And I don't see any other questions. But if you guys have questions, we'll get the recipe out to you because that waffle sounds amazing and easy and quick. So thank you so much for being here with us. We're so excited to see you at NYKO. If you guys are not, I know Meredith mentioned this, if you guys hopped on a little bit early, but if you are not going to NYKO, make sure you get the live stream and make it fun. So go to a coffee shop with all your friends in town who are not going, or have everybody over at night to watch the recording. Make it plan your day so that you actually have time to watch it, buy it, and then plan that time out. Or else you just won't. You'll just get lost in life. So treat that as you're growing your business if you cannot be there. And make sure you know of all the promotions. I wish I had time right now to like go over. Maybe we'll do that in another call or after the event. But there's so many promotions. There's the ability to make like $10,000 in the next 60 days. Make sure you're asking people for that. And then just all the other promotions, go to contests and promotions in your back office, and they are all back there. So thank you everyone for hopping on. This recording will be available on YouTube. So make sure you share it out to all of your teams, and we will see you next week, right? Or do we have, yeah, okay, next week. Do you know who it is?
We're probably just going to go over New Year's kickoff stuff.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. Have a good Monday.
Bye.